This is the ultimate Clone Hero drum setup tutorial. In this video, I'll be covering anything from the basic setup to more complex setups like playing with the VST at the same time. While I will be going over a lot, I want to make this video as short as possible, so if you need to go back to a section, the timestamps will be left below, but let's get started with the basic setup. If you somehow still have a Rock Band or Guitar Hero kit laying around, those will still work if you want to use that, but most drummers nowadays use an E-kit, whether that's Roland, Alesis, or any of the other brands. And if you don't have a Rock Band Guitar Hero kit or an E-kit and you don't want to spend any money, you can just tap on your phone, or you can use a keyboard or controller. First, I want to cover how to set up an E-kit because that's going to be the most common use. Unless you have some type of ancient kit, it should have USB MIDI. But if your kit doesn't have USB MIDI, don't panic, I will cover that right after this. USB MIDI cable, otherwise known as a printer cable or USB type B to type A, this is the most common way that people play Clone Hero. Take the type B side, plug it into your module, and take the type A side, plug it into your computer. In most cases, you won't need to download any kind of driver, you will have to check with the kit you have. And just like that, all you got to do is select your drums in game, go through the in-game mapper, and you're ready to play. Just keep in mind, if you have dual or triple zone cymbals, you want to map every single zone of your cymbals, that way you don't get any dropped or missed inputs. If you're not playing with a VST, you're done, you're ready to go. Now let's cover connecting using regular MIDI. If your kit did not have USB MIDI, it has to have regular MIDI, and if it doesn't, then your kit is ancient and you just get a different one. Connecting through MIDI is a little bit tricky because you do need a second device. The easiest way is to get one of these MIDI to USB interfaces. You don't need a full size interface, just one of these little cable ones will do. And just like that, you connect your kit to your MIDI interface to your computer, and all the previous steps that are used for USB MIDI are the exact same thing, except the device you select in-game is your MIDI interface and not your kit, because it's connected to the interface and not USB this time, you know. But if you do plan on playing console, I actually recommend getting a ACE adapter or a Roll Limitless. If you get an ACE adapter, use code FableLC at RetroCoolMods.com. I'm not going to cover mapping your drums to these adapters because they're different for each one. If you have one of these adapters, then you already know it's connected the exact same way these OG kits are, so let's cover that right now. If you have a OG Rock Band or Guitar Hero kit, these should be plug and play. If you have a Guitar Hero kit, you want to select 5-lane compatibility mode, and if you have a Rock Band kit, of course, just select drums or pro drums. I've personally never had any issues of these just connecting right away, so if you have any issues, let us know down below and we can try to help you. Now let's cover playing this game with the VST at the same time. And for those that don't know, when I say VST, I am basically saying a third-party drum library that is not part of your module. A VST can be many different instruments, many different programs, but for the sake of this video, when I say VST, I'm basically just talking about a drum library. And when I say DAW, I'm talking about a digital audio workstation. Most people will be familiar with Fruity Loops. I use Reaper. Because there are so many VSTs and DAWs, you will have to apply this information to whichever ones you choose. First, let's talk the hardware solution. Not every module can do this, so you have to check with yours. I know my Alesis Surge module couldn't, but my current Roland TD25 module can. You want to utilize both USB and regular MIDI. Which one you use for which is up to you, but personally I use USB MIDI for the samples, and I use a regular MIDI cable running to an ACE adapter for the game. And again, if you don't want to use a console adapter, you can use a MIDI to USB interface. And the hardware solution is as simple as that. If you're using the console adapter solution, then just make sure you don't select the MIDI device in game and only select it inside of your DAW. If you're using the USB MIDI and the MIDI interface method, just make sure you have one selected for your DAW and one selected for your game. It's as simple as that. Now let's talk about the software solution. While I've heard Mac doesn't have this issue, Windows only allows you to use one MIDI device per program, meaning you either have to use your DAW or Clone Hero and not both. But the workaround is to make virtual MIDI devices with Loop MIDI and then use MIDI OX to route your drums to those virtual MIDI devices. Down in the description you will find a link to Loop MIDI. Download and install this. Now run the program and we need to make two virtual MIDI devices. At the bottom of the program you will see new port name. You can name these ports whatever you want, just make sure your DAW and your game ports are different. I personally keep it simple. I just put G for game. So I would type G, then hit the plus sign. And because I use Reaper for my DAW, I type in R, then hit plus again for the second port. Again, you can name these whatever, the name's not really important. Next, head down below and download MIDI OX. We will use this program to route our actual drum kit to these virtual MIDI devices to trigger both at the same time. Once installed, head to the Options tab in the middle of the program and select MIDI devices. Under MIDI input, select your drums. For me, it's a TD25. Then under output, select both of the virtual MIDI devices you made with Loop MIDI. Now you can save this preset, hit okay, and that's pretty much it with these programs. If you have it set up correctly, you should see inside of MIDI OX that you're triggering both of those virtual inputs with your drums. And now, similar to the hardware solution, you have two different devices to select to each one. You have one virtual device for your DAW, so go ahead and select that inside of there, and then you want to leave your other for your game. You should have these named accordingly. In my experience, this software solution doesn't add any lag, but just to be safe, just calibrate your game again. And just like that, we covered how to play the game normally with just a MIDI kit, an OG Rock Band and Guitar Hero kit, with the VST through hardware solutions, and with the VST through a software solution. If I missed anything and you still need help, please let me know down below. If you're curious about what gear I use, the drums, the sticks, pedals, PC hardware, monitors, literally everything is linked in my Discord down below, including where I get all of my 30,000 songs. With that being said, if this tutorial helped you in any way, please leave a like and share with anybody else that could use this. And also, I will be making an ultimate Clone Hero streaming guide soon. I've been asked about my OBS scenes many times, especially the vertical TikTok and YouTube Shorts ones. So I will show you guys exactly how I make all of my OBS scenes. No gatekeeping in 2026. Goodbye.